So hello guys, welcome to episode 83 of our F1 Manager Save. Now, if you didn't watch the last Grand Prix in Hungary at the Hungaroring, it was an interesting one, it must be said. We did manage to win it with Lando Norris pipping Max Verstappen on the final lap. To be fair, it was a two-horse race all the way through. A special shout out for Esteban Ocon. Esti Beste did very, very well in P3. Mick Schumacher had a spin, cost him a points paying position, which in the standings meant that Red Bull overtook us. They're now 5 points clear of us in the constructor standings, but Lando Norris is looking very comfortable, 78 points clear of Charles Leclerc. That has played into the thinking this weekend as we head to Spa. 44 laps around here, quite a long circuit, as I'm sure you know. Expected strategy is a one-stop. However, we are going to be taking some grid penalties with Lando Norris. We may do it with Mick Schumacher, but I think we're going to take a full new set of engine components for Lando Norris. So something to look out for there. I'm going to get through to qualifying, and I'll see you in session 3 of qualifying for the Belgian Grand Prix.
Hello, and thank you for joining us as our race weekend unfolds. Free practice has concluded and qualifying awaits. For those teams who made the most of free practice, they'll be heading into qualifying full of confidence, knowing that they can carry today's momentum into the upcoming session. Does practice make perfect? Well, for one standout driver, it will make for pole. Hold on tight, because we're getting underway.
So guys, end of qualifying now. We're going to be taking a full set of engine penalties for both cars. So we're going to be starting from the back. There wasn't much point in showing you the laps. So we'll get to the strategy screen now. Back to front challenge. I think we could do some damage. Right guys, so we're going to do something very different with Lando Norris. And then Mick Schumacher's going to be on the standard one stop. Apparently that's the quickest strategy. However, I think Lando Norris has got the pace to blitz a few positions early on, swap onto the mediums, go again, and then go again at the end. So we're going to do something really different with Lando Norris. It's a bit risky, but I think it's a risk worth taking. Meanwhile, Mick Schumacher, P14, he can mech up places and get in the points. I'm pretty sure of that. So there's a lot to be said for this. Both guys, full set of new engine components. Let's see what we do at the Belgian Grand Prix.
You can hear the excitement in the crowd here at the Belgian Grand Prix. It's lights out and away we go.
And away we go, and straight away we are looking at Lando Norris on board with him on the soft compounded tyre. He needs to be making hay while the sun shines on these tyres. If we have a look at the cars around him, all on fresh soft compound tyres. There was rain on Saturday in qualifying. Mick Schumacher's in front of him, and straight away Mick Schumacher looking to make moves on the Haas as well. So both cars starting at the very, very back. We need to be making moves with both our guys. Very worryingly, Verstappen and Leclerc are the two cars at the front of this Grand Prix. One on soft, one on mediums. Verstappen's obviously got the preference of the strategy on that medium compounded tyre. So it's Verstappen from Leclerc, Perez in P3, Magnussen P4, Ocon again in the Lotus Renault in P5, Sainz P6, Albon 7, Sargent in the Williams in P8, Vettel in P9 and Danny Ricciardo in P10. But our guys have got to get a shift on early in this Grand Prix. And straight away, lap 2, we have a safety car. Both our guys promoted a couple of positions. Let's have a little look at what's happening here then. So we didn't get to see the crash live. It looks like it's Carlos Sainz. It's too early for either of our guys to be pitting, but we will have a look at this incident. So we've got Carlos Sainz and the Audi, I believe that may be Alexander Albon, locking up and taking out Carlos Sainz into turn 1. Safety car straight away in this Grand Prix. We'll come back when we're back to green flag running. It'd be nice to swap our cars round, but at the moment we're pretty happy with how things are going. So safety car restart, we are back to green flag running as Max Verstappen looks to lead us away here as he goes to cross the start finish line on lap 5. What we've said to Mick Schumacher is basically get out of the way of your teammate. You're on different strategies, and Lando Norris has been let through by Mick Schumacher, and now Lando has got to push on these tyres and really make this work now. He's got the pace to overtake these cars in front of him. Mick Schumacher equally, he's going longer and just looking after his tyres a bit more. But as we lead away, Max Verstappen is still in P1 from Charles Leclerc, Sergio Perez in P3, Magnussen in P4 in the Audi, Ocon in the Lotus Renault in P5, Vettel 6, Sargent now in P8. Battling with Danny Ricciardo, Russell and Bottas are P9 and 10. Both Mercedes once again in the points paid positions at the start of this Grand Prix. Lando Norris making up positions early doors. He's got past Nicholas Latifi in the Haas, and it didn't take him too long either to get past Yuki Tsunoda. But then this happened, and I'm hoping we're going to get a replay of this. We certainly are. He pushed to get past and then ran wide, didn't crash the car, but all that good work from Lando Norris means he's now back at the back again. Lando Norris, not ideal at all. Mick Schumacher, though, up to P16. If we're focusing on the positives, he's got to dispatch Yuki Tsunoda as quickly as he possibly can, and we are going to be telling him very shortly to get a shift on and catch up with the next group of cars. But Lando Norris will be very, very frustrated indeed about that mistake. Lap 6. We've got a couple of cars in early on lap 10. Both Valtteri Bottas and Guan Yu Zhou in to the pits onto the hard compounded tyre. I'm guessing that's a one-stop strategy from them. We'll have a little look at the reports. If we have a look at the pre-race reports in terms of the strategies, early pit window could be a one-stop on to the hard compounded tyre. This is an option we've got with Lando Norris, and if we wanted to, we could go onto the hard compound tyre now and in a bit of clean air possibly make up some positions. That's something we are considering with Lando on lap 10. There may be a change of strategy here for us. Meanwhile, Mick Schumacher tottering along in P13 at this moment in time. He's got a gaggle of cars, but he will get into the points once he gets past these. But the interesting thing could be switching Lando Norris onto the hard compounded tyre, or do we stick to his guns and go for the two-stop? Lap 10, we're going to bring you back because Lando Norris has been told to pit. We're going to switch him onto the mediums now, get him out in clean air, and then tell him to absolutely hammer it. It's hammer time for Lando Norris once he gets out of the pits here. He's going to be in clean air there, and then it's going to be time to start making some positions up. Hopefully then we may get a safety car or something towards the end, but I'm pretty convinced that by doing this we get him to use the power and of course that fresh engine that he's got and make up some positions. I'm going to tell him to use all the ERS as well and absolutely burn it now on these tyres. That's the plan for Lando Norris. Mick Schumacher is in this little gaggle of cars that he seems to be struggling to get past. At the front on lap 11, Max Verstappen is still leading from his teammate Charles Leclerc. He's pretty much as you were with Perez and Ocon and Magnussen. Vettel doing very well in the Haas at this moment in time. Danny Ricciardo P7, Sargent, Russell and Gasly. Pierre Gasly is in P10, but Schumacher is on the back of this little train of cars and he really needs to start getting past the fuel. Lap 11. Right, big moments in this Grand Prix. Yeah, we've got a lot of cars boxing now. Ocon's been held terribly in the pit lane. Esteban Ocon will not be happy with that. Leclerc's done very well there. Leclerc was in. All the soft compound runners, the early soft compound runners have pitted. Mick Schumacher's passed those guys now. Obviously, they've got a pit stop on him. We're looking at Lando Norris, who's just set the new fastest lap of the Grand Prix. If we have a look at the leaders, a 1:45.5 was the last lap from Verstappen, 1:44.3 for Lando Norris. He's starting to put in the lap times, which is necessary for him, and hopefully just using these medium compound tyres. Mick Schumacher now up to P7, but he's got to start getting past these two, because I think if he does, he could possibly start to pull out a lead on these guys, but they should be pitting very shortly anyway. So if he doesn't get past them on track, I'm certain that he's going to get past them when they come in, and then we can use the power of this Ferrari to get past Lando Norris. He is in no man's land at the moment. He's pushing as quick as he possibly can on these medium compounded tyres. Remember, all these guys on hards now towards the end of the Grand Prix. Lando's going to be on another fresh set of medium compound tyres. Lap 13. Right, we're going to bring you back for a couple of things just to note. We're going to get a replay, I believe. We've got a Zane Maloney spin, which we wanted to bring your attention to. In the Nissan, he was just behind one of the Red Bulls, held a couple of cars up. Fortunately, we weren't one of those that he did held up. Mick Schumacher now up to P5, just got past Pierre Gasly, looking pretty okay at this moment in time. Got a bit of a gap to Sargent now. He's got a lot of cars behind him who have made the pit stops, but I think we could get a points finish with Mick Schumacher today. Meanwhile, Lando Norris is just catching up with these guys in front. He's already made one pit stop. He's got to make another. Lando Norris may need a safety car to get some decent points here today. In hindsight, we possibly could have started on the hards and gone long. That may have been an option for us and goal hanged for a safety car. But at the moment, Mick Schumacher is looking pretty nippy in P5. Verstappen still leads, yet to make his pit stop. He's on the mediums, the same as Mick Schumacher. The front 5 now, all on mediums. The rest of the guys either have made the pit stops or are just running that little bit longer. Lap 16. And on lap 17, Max Verstappen is in. That's quite early for the medium compound runners, so that's quite an interesting one from Red Bull. Perez is in as well from P2 onto the hard compounded tyre as we expected. So Max Verstappen is now in and coming out. Let's have a look where Max Verstappen comes out. I'm guessing he's going to come out in front of Mick Schumacher. He is, but Max Verstappen now coming out into net P3. P3, yeah, Perez behind him, and that will be net P1 once Vettel and Sargent pit. Mick Schumacher gap to Perez is 3.5 seconds for Mick, who will be in the next couple of laps. Lando Norris making progress, has got the fastest lap of the Grand Prix, and he's now chasing down Guan Yu Zhou. Remember, Lando Norris has got another pit stop to make in this Grand Prix. Lap 20, Mick Schumacher, as you can see, has just had his pit stop, 2.4 second pit stop. It's not been a bad one for Mick. We're just having a look where he's going to filter out here. He's going to filter out in P15, I believe, but I think we might have got him out in a nice gap. Daniel Ricciardo has just had a spin, which has meant that he's dropped back a little bit, which has sort of closed that little gap that we've got him out into a little bit. But to be fair to Mick Schumacher now, he's got time, and on this outlap, to make some moves. We're going to tell him to use a little bit of ERS, push a little bit on the fuel, and have a decent outlap, and hopefully then get a little bit more, gain a few positions maybe on the cars that he's fighting today. Lando Norris up in P12, trying to make way past these cars, but at the moment can't seem to do it. Lap 20. Lap 24, we bring you back. Mick Schumacher just set the fastest lap of the Grand Prix, and to be fair, he's not even really pushing. Lando Norris has been told to get a shift on. You've now got your teammate behind you, and as much as he let you past earlier, it might be the same way, it might be the other way around now, where Lando has to let Mick Schumacher past, unless Lando starts getting past a couple of cars, which at this moment in time, he really isn't. In hindsight, would we have gone for the hard compound? Possibly. There is another school of thought where we could try and goal hang for a safety car here. That is something else I am considering at this moment in time. I know we're pushing on the tyres at this moment, but maybe we could goal hang for a safety car at the end for Lando Norris. Something to consider, but Mick Schumacher is catching up at the moment. And let's have a look who's at the front of this train we've got here. Is it Esteban Ocon? Or is it Logan Sargent? I believe it's Logan Sargent in P5. So there's definite options here if we can start making moves past these guys. But Lando Norris is due to come in the next couple of laps. And on lap 28, Lando Norris is in to the pits. I think that's probably the best option we've got. Whether we're going to get anything from this Grand Prix for Lando, it might be a bad day for him, as somebody's just locked up. If that brought out a safety car, I would be very, very upset with that. But Mick Schumacher now, we are having a little look here. Seems to have dropped a couple of positions there. And I believe, as much as Stroll has just crashed, I think Mick Schumacher did run wide as well. Let's have a look to see if we get a replay of this. And Mick Schumacher, who was in a solid position to get some decent points today, has just made an error which could really cost him. I don't think we're quite going to get a replay of that, but Mick Schumacher now running on his own and needs to catch up to these guys. He's going to be told to deploy. Lando Norris now as P17, he's got a lot of work to do, but he's now on the mediums towards the end of this Grand Prix. Lap 28. Lap 30, Lando Norris, fastest lap of the Grand Prix once again on those fresh medium tyres. Mick Schumacher is currently recovering from that little mistake that he's had. He's now back up to P13, and he's got Bottas and Ricciardo in front of him. Then he's got a 4-second gap to Guan Yu Zhou in front of them, so he's got a lot of work to do, Mick Schumacher. But I'm still hopeful that he can do it. We've not had many safety cars this season. It has been something I've noticed. We are going to need one if we're going to get some decent points today. Lando Norris, despite banging in that fastest lap, will he manage to bridge the gap to the top 10? It's doubtful. At the front, Max Verstappen, again, pretty much in real life, he's having a lovely drive round Belgium this afternoon. He's leading a Grand Prix. He's under threat from Perez, but I think he's possibly got him covered. Leclerc 2.2 seconds back. Vettel in P4. He's the first one really in no man's land. It's going to be a big points total for Red Bull today. But remember, we've took engine parts. I'm not overly upset with this. We knew this were coming, lap 31. Zane Maloney is not having a good day in Belgium. He's spun once again in the Nissan. He just can't seem to get to grips with it. Locked his front right up, under braking. The disappointing thing is it has not brought out a safety car. So on lap 32, we really could have done with that. Mick Schumacher's in P12. He could possibly get a point today, Mick Schumacher. I truly believe that. If he can get past Valtteri Bottas, which he's currently doing now, and to be fair, that is a glorious move from Mick Schumacher. He's got Danny Ricciardo to get past, and then he's got to try and just make an imprint on this gap in front. He has got ERS to use. He will be told to use it, but Mick Schumacher is making moves. Meanwhile, Lando Norris, we're going to have a look at this Schumacher move again, because I thought that were a delightful move. Up the inside, round Valtteri Bottas, have a bit of that, son. I don't care that I'm the younger driver. He's showing that possibly, in that little instance, he's the better driver. Lando Norris is now 3 tenths behind Kevin Magnussen on fresher tyres. Lando Norris has got the tyres to really make an imprint here. Don't write Lando Norris off the points just yet. But Mick Schumacher now, 6 tenths of a second to Danny Rick, and then he's going to be told to use the ERS and absolutely blitz it to get up to these guys, because then you're looking at P8, P6. It's a good recovery drive from Mick Schumacher today. Lando Norris looks like he's going for the move on Kevin Magnussen. Can he get it done down this long winding straight? It doesn't look like he can. As we come up to the bus stop chicane, is he going to go for a move into here? I don't believe he's going to do. What he is going to do is just hold on a little bit here, and then I'm suggesting that he's going to use the DRS and the tyres to get past K-Mag. Here we go. K-Mag covers it off pretty well. Can't get past him there. K-Mag defends pretty well, but now I don't think there's going to be much defence as we go up Eau Rouge and then onto that long straight. To be fair, he looks like he were thinking about going side by side with him up Eau Rouge. He still is. Lando Norris, Kevin Magnussen, he's dodging left and right here, trying to stop this Ferrari, but I don't think he's going to manage it, because as soon as Lando gets the chance, DRS should be open, using overtake, and Kevin Magnussen is still defending from Lando Norris. This is costing him a lot of time. Huge moment in the constructors' standings. Charles Leclerc. You can see Verstappen and Perez at the front. Charles Leclerc, he's locked up his front left, then his front right, and then absolutely wiped the barriers. Charles Leclerc, it's not brought out a safety car, and somehow he's going to be tottering round now with half a front wing. He's got to come in for another pit stop. Mick Schumacher has managed to get past Danny Ricciardo. He can now chase down these cars in front, and he's going to be told to deploy on the battery and push on the fuel as well. Lando Norris got past Kevin Magnussen eventually, and he's now on the back of Gasly and Bottas as well. So, something to be very aware of. Lando Norris on the charge. Mick Schumacher told to use the ERS and get himself up to this next gaggle of cars. On lap 35, Leclerc, I'm assuming, will be into the pits next lap. And we are in the pits on lap 36 with Charles Leclerc. We're watching this pit stop very, very keenly. He's putting a new front wing on. Charles Leclerc is away now. Where is he going to come out? Is he going to come out in the battle of these cars here with Sargent and Ocon, or has he got enough in the tank to be away from them? We have a look. We can see Ocon coming round. Leclerc is going to come out just in front of those on soft compound tyres, so it's not actually cost Leclerc that much, just one position. Mick Schumacher's burning all the ERS to try and catch up to these guys, but at the moment just can't quite do it. Lando Norris is now on the back of Bottas and Gasly, and he needs to get past them quickly, and he's going to be told to use overtake as he gets past Eau Rouge into the next DRS zone. Can he get past these guys? Let's have a look. He's got the DRS wide open. Can he move to the right or left? He can't. Gasly's having a look at Bottas. He can't quite get past him. This is the battle for P12 at this moment in time. He just cannot get past them at the moment. Meanwhile, Mick Schumacher in the points paying positions and dragging Danny Ricciardo along with him. Lap 38, Danny Ricciardo, he's got pace in that McLaren. He's just overtaken Mick Schumacher. We praise Mick Schumacher for this similar move on Valtteri Bottas. Danny Ricciardo's just got it done into the points for Danny Ricciardo. P11 now for Mick Schumacher. We're watching this battle very closely, but we're also watching Lando Norris, who has just now got past Valtteri Bottas. I'm hoping we're going to get a replay of that, but this is it now for Lando Norris. He's just got to drive and hopefully get up with Mick Schumacher. Then he possibly could get a couple of points, but in hindsight we maybe should have started on the hard compound tyre. The real battle is Schumacher, but he's now in this gaggle of cars. He can see decent points here today. Can Mick Schumacher pull off a worldly result and get maybe what, P9, P8? It's not impossible. It is all happening here. We've got 3 laps remaining and Mick Schumacher has just got up into P9. But is that what we should be excited about? Because we can see Lando Norris on the back of this slot of cars now on the medium compounded tyre. We'll have a little look at Mick Schumacher's little overtake here into turn 1. Outbraking George Russell in that Mercedes. Beautiful work from him. Lando Norris has been absolutely flying in the Ferrari, and we're looking, I mean, we've got this little battle. Mick Schumacher looking down the right hand side. Can he get a move done here? He can't. The Lotus Renault of Zhou and Albon, both going for here. Albon in the Audi. Can he get a move done? These two are side by side. I reckon it could be double points for us if Lando Norris can get past one of these two cars in front. I reckon Lando could get points today, and that would be a good recovery drive. Double points for Ferrari when we started at the bike. I'd be quite happy with that. But Mick Schumacher is still battling away on the back of Alexander Albon, looking left and right. I fancy Mick Schumacher to be able to get at least a couple more positions here. And Lando Norris, it's all about, if he can get past Ricciardo, then it's just a one-on-one with George Russell for P10, lap 43. Mick Schumacher, absolutely fantastic. Into the bus stop chicane, got down the inside of Alexander Albon, outbraked him, got the job done before he got into the second bit and the turning. Then he got DRS, and now if we cut back to the live action, the man to look at is Guan Yu Zhou. Mick Schumacher is being told to use overtake, use the tyres and push and attack the Lotus Renault of Guan Yu Zhou. P7 for Mick Schumacher from P19 would be an absolute dream result for him. He's pulled to the left hand side. Can he get this job done and get another position? P7, I would be very, very happy with that. Meanwhile, Lando Norris is trying to do the same with Danny Ricciardo and George Russell, and we've just seen there Mick Schumacher past Guan Yu Zhou up into P7. Great work from him. Lando Norris looks like he's just struggling for a bit of pace here. We tried something a bit different. The tyres are just starting to give way, but Lando Norris didn't quite manage it. Mick Schumacher did. Inside there, job done. Great work from him. Lando Norris, we've still got one more racing lap, remember. Lando Norris could still possibly do this. Lap 43. So here we go then. We are on the final sector of this Grand Prix. Mick Schumacher looks like he's got it in the bag. He's got P7 done and dusted. He's been told just to use the ERS to defend. But I think Mick Schumacher's job is done today. The man whose job isn't done today is Lando Norris. He's got nothing left on the battery to overtake these guys. I don't see what else we can do apart from attack on the tyres. Maybe there is a chance that he could get Danny Ricciardo. Danny Ricciardo cuts him off. Max Verstappen wins the Grand Prix. Perez in second, Leclerc third. Mick Schumacher, he's going to cross the line unless Lando Norris can somehow pull this out of the bag here, which I don't think he can. He's going to come home P12. But Mick Schumacher, let's give him all the credit today. He had a little bit of an error. Without that error, he could have possibly been up with Ocon and Sargent. But Mick Schumacher, P7 for him, P12 for Lando Norris. But credit to Max Verstappen, he's made that look very, very easy. And so there we have it, guys. Look, it wasn't the best result for us today, but I think you've got to credit to Mick Schumacher. I think we got the strategy wrong with Lando, but Max Verstappen wins, Perez second, Leclerc third, Vettel fourth, Ocon fifth. Logan Sargent picking up a couple of decent points for the Williams there. That's very good from him. Mick Schumacher getting 13 places. Guan Yu Zhou in P8. Albon P9. Russell P10. Lando finishing in P12. Driver standings wise, yes, that does allow Max Verstappen to gain quite a significant amount on us. We've still got a sort of 57-point gap. Remember, we've took fresh engine components now. The Red Bulls are going to have to take engine penalties. Charles Leclerc in P3. Max Verstappen's actually jumped in. Schumacher drops below Sergio Perez. Constructor standings wise, it was a bad day for that, but like I said, there are plenty more days to come, and I think we can beat Red Bull in the Constructors. We could do with some more upgrades though. So I hope you've enjoyed that. It were a little bit of a throwback starting from the back of the grid to season 1 of this F1 Manager save, but I hope to see you on the next one. Ta-ra.